join us here. I'm assuming this is it kind of for today. So we'll go ahead and start from a comfortable place, a seat that you might like. Allow yourself to kind of lift up through the heart, take the crown of the head a little bit high toward the ceiling, drawing yourself up into tall posture, hands maybe just gently resting in the lap or down by the sides. Allowing yourself to start to draw breath in to your body and just noticing where it lands, so to speak, or where it fills. That might just be the natural pace that you start with today. Not trying to change the breath or do anything with it particularly, just giving yourself a chance to feel through what is true and present with you, kind of in that breath space. You might close down the eyes or cast the gaze low. Just allow yourself to take your gaze inward through your body, maybe recognizing where there might be tension, stress, pain, or injury. If there's anything that feels like it's weighing on you heavy, anything that may need a little bit more attention or care today from you. And if as you feel through kind of what you notice, if you want to place hands anywhere that you might need a little extra love or attention, or put hands somewhere where you'd like to invite the breath in a little bit deeper, you might give yourself just a little touch. Allowing ourselves just the compassionate hold of whatever we may be dealing with or moving through in our lives today. Maybe allowing ourselves to wrap the arms around, draw ourselves into a little bit of a hug. You might see how far back you can walk those fingertips around the shoulders or toward the shoulder blades. Maybe choosing to stretch open the shoulder blades across the back by pressing the shoulders down away from the ears here. Perhaps finding a gentle stretch, inviting the breath to move through you here. If there's the release of any tension or stress here in the upper back or shoulders, just inviting it to clear with the exhale. The gentle in-breath coming in to give us fresh energy and new life. Maybe you choose to release that gentle clasp, maybe taking a little bit of movement through the arms or the shoulders, could be a little bit of movement, hands staying low, or a bigger movement, maybe the arms coming out in a circle. We'll invite you to come back to that gentle stretch and hug, but this time crossing the other arm on top. You can kind of recognize which way you might have been the first time and picking to take the other arm on top this time. Then two, maybe walking those hands far behind you, maybe clasping the shoulders, the upper arms, or the shoulder blades, whatever is accessible. Maybe inviting a gentle press down of the shoulders or space between the shoulder blades along the back. Here too, maybe giving breath to this place, inviting the breath to come through, clear any tension or energy that feels stuck. Bringing those winds of change inside to help us shift our energy, create more space for positivity, for love, and for light. Maybe giving it one or two more breaths if you choose to, eyes closed or gently gazing. If you need any more squeeze or any more hug, now is your time to give yourself that loving energy. Here too, when you feel ready to release, maybe finding some layer of movement or gentle stretch that you can use to open back up, create more space through the shoulders, maybe through the front of the heart as well. You can choose which direction or directions you may want to move. Maybe giving it a couple more rounds or breaths here. Good. Allowing yourself maybe to sweep the right arm up overhead and then bend at the elbow. You can choose from here, do you want to take the left hand to that right elbow and help draw the shoulder a little bit back and down? Or if you'd like to take the full cow face hands, you might reach the fingertips toward each other on the spine. An option too to use a strap or some piece of fabric, perhaps a sock, to connect the hands behind you. So lots of different ways of taking the shape. Noticing what feels right for you. Spending a little bit of time maybe opening through the lower part of the shoulder. Stretching some of the muscles in and around the armpit, maybe down the side body if that feels good to you. You can even lean into it a little bit or find a little bit of a shift in the movement that may feel good to you. Option to give it another breath or two here today. Choosing the end of an exhale, maybe to release. When you're ready, maybe the left arm comes up or the second hand comes up. You can choose to clasp the elbow with the right arm. Reach behind to meet the fingertips. Or bring in that strap or support to help you connect the hands here behind the back. However you found kind of your comfort zone, that comfortable enough stretch, not too hot, not too cold. Noticing where you might feel tension or tightness and giving breath into those spaces, helping to open the body from the inside out. Again, maybe giving it another breath or two as you see fit. Always an option to change a shape sooner or move to a different shape that feels better. Maybe with an exhale, finding the time to release. Maybe again you meet with some shoulder roll. And a couple of options here, a little bit more of a heart opener. Inviting you perhaps to come up to the knees if you wish. And one option will be clasping the fingers behind the back. Drawing the shoulder blades back behind you if you want to come into a shoulder rinse perhaps. Maybe allowing yourself to fold forward to take the crown of the head toward the floor. Maybe it touches, maybe it doesn't. And then lifting the arms away from the low body to create a little bit of a shoulder rinse. Here too, maybe noticing where you may be pressing or squeezing out some tension, some tightness. Just giving yourself a chance to move the breath through the stretch. If you like to, you can even reverse the clasp of the hands, bringing those hands back down to the hips. And then just reversing which thumb is on top, so switching the hands, and then maybe coming back into the shape if you like it. Still taking deep breath here, lots of space available, lots of time. And when you feel ready, perhaps again, rising back up, lowering those hands back behind you, maybe coming back upright, releasing the inversion. Maybe coming to gently set the hips down to the heels, if that feels okay to you. And if you'd like to transition here toward a child's pose, perhaps walking the upper body down, resting the forehead toward the floor. It may touch, it may not. You can also choose to stack the palms of the fists hips and make a pillow for your forehead here. Inviting you just to move breath through this shape. Take some release. Invite you to kind of be with yourself here. Maybe noticing the sound or the depth of the breath. Maybe acknowledging if there's stressors or busyness in the mind. Maybe even just for one single moment, releasing these things. Taking just that one moment of clarity for yourself. From here, if you would like to, maybe rising up toward hands and knees. Inviting some gentle cat-cow flow here today. So tilting first the tailbone and the gaze up. Deep breath in here for cow pose. With the exhale, maybe rounding the spine, tucking the chin and tailbone under, exhaling for cat pose. And allow yourself to just follow the pace of your breath. Dropping the belly toward the floor, taking the inhale. With the exhale, rounding the back. Really squeezing any tension or pressure out. Allowing this pace to be true for you. Your own gentle flow. Maybe allowing yourself to connect with the feeling of the hands and the knees on the ground, maybe the feet as well. Just bringing awareness to the earth below you that is supporting and sustaining you. If you would like to, at the end of an exhale, maybe sit the hips back toward the heels once again. If you would like to continue with the flowing practice, maybe walking those hands a little further forward. Fingers spread nice and wide with the next inhale, perhaps rising up through table pose to cobra pose, dropping the hips toward the ground, lifting through the heart, maybe taking the gaze nice and high if you wish. With the exhale, perhaps setting it back down toward child's pose. So you can flow forward and back a few times, maybe 5 or 6 rounds total. If you would like to, again, just taking your own pace and time. I think my pace is a little bit slower today, and that's okay. It's a windy fall day. Just honoring for yourself what feels true based on your own energy level, your own need for speed or anti-speed. There's lots of time to find the breath. Make the movements meaningful to you. Maybe taking one more round or so if you like it here. So lean back into a child's pose, perhaps this time maybe opening the knees wide. If you like to, you could even walk the hands over to one side, taking a nice side body stretch. You walk the hands to the right first, maybe opening through the left side of the rib cage. Maybe really choosing to reach through that left arm and hand, stretching from the edge of the pinky all the way down the arm and the shoulder through the rib cage. Also giving breath here to this space. Maybe one more inhale. One more full exhale. Perhaps walking the hands through the center here and over to the left side. Really reaching through that right arm if that's your kind of stretching arm. Again, noticing how much you can create space through the right side rib cage this time. Maybe expanding and opening more space for breath. Maybe checking in with other places you may feel stretched, perhaps through the hips, knees, and ankles. Just acknowledging what you notice here. Giving it one more breath or so if you like. Coming back when you're ready. Through center. Maybe taking just another couple of breaths here in the middle of the shape if you prefer. You're welcome to find your way back up toward hands and knees anytime you're ready, but maybe giving it just a couple more breaths if that feels okay to you. And when you feel ready, maybe allowing yourself to come back up toward those hands and knees. Inviting a little bit of a change toward a downward facing dog, perhaps tucking the toes under if you feel ready for that shape. Really allowing space between the fingers and a nice firm foundation in the hands, supporting through the arches in the palm, rising up through the hips, perhaps walking the feet back behind you, pedaling the knees perhaps. Maybe finding awareness for anywhere that may feel particularly tight or needing some space to stretch. You may find that still place, just reaching the heels back to the ground, pressing out of the shoulders, pressing the floor away for yourself. Maybe the head and the neck can relax just a little bit more here. Good. If you'd like to, perhaps walking the feet toward the hands or taking a bigger step up to the feet if that's a need for you. Inviting a nice gentle forward fold. It can be with the legs straight, hinging forward from the hips. Or if you need a little less, you can bend the knees, place the elbows here, hang the head. If you'd like to keep the head and heart on level, you're welcome to just come to half fold. Keeping the back nice and flat. You choose for yourself how deep you want to go. And again, just inviting a sense of inversion here. Getting the head below the heart, helping us to calm the mind. Bring focus and awareness back to the breath. Maybe noticing if you can expand through the back of the ribs this time. More opening in the shoulder blades. Sending that breath back into the back body. Maybe taking 2 or 3 more breaths for this shape if you wish. Good. Coming perhaps to the front edge of the mat if you wish to. And inviting the hands to come to ground, maybe stepping the right foot back just a little ways into a pyramid pose. Keeping the toes more or less parallel, maybe the right toes turn out just a fuzz. But then drawing that right hip further forward as we get that rotation helps us to open through the back of the left leg. We're getting some nice extension there in the hamstring. And the more we press that left hip back and the right hip forward, then we get more of that stretch into the muscles that weave into the pelvis. Connecting to the low back, helping us find more space. These are also the muscles that are ready to help us run away from something we find fearful or dangerous. And these things can be triggered and called into action or called into tension, even in the cases of emotional danger or stressors. So we just want to give ourselves a chance to open back up here. Maybe giving another breath or two to the space. Maybe one more breath if you like it. Maybe coming to step that right foot forward again to meet the left, and then just reversing the side. So left foot this time stepping back. Again, toes might turn out just a little bit. The more kind of in line the feet are, the more balance challenge comes in. If you want to step the foot out wide behind you, give a little bit more distance between the feet, then you get more of a railroad track, better balance. Again, gently rotating, this time the right hip back and the left hip forward. You might notice how that changes the stretch, adds more kind of energy or openness here to the piriformis and the psoas. Taking breath through the stretch as well as we find that space, giving that life force into those tight places to help them open and stay open. Maybe 2 or 3 more rounds of breath here if you choose. You can be gentle with yourself if you find you've had enough or too much. You can always come out sooner. Maybe giving it 1 more breath if you like. And the next inhale, perhaps stepping that left foot forward to meet the right 1 more time. Inviting a little bit of a bend in the knees and just resting the chest on the thighs here. Head can hang heavy, arms just gently by the sides. Maybe allow yourself to stretch a little bit through the calf muscles here, bending into the knees, perhaps enough to feel a gentle stretch. And then as you feel ready, maybe coming to roll up gently, 1 vertebra at a time, coming towards standing. The chin can stay heavy on the chest here till the last moment. As we gently lift the gaze, keeping the back of the neck opening very slowly. Rising our way up to a standing shape. Maybe it's coming to spread the toes wide. Find the balance point in the center of the stance. You might shift the hips side to side a little bit to make that available. Just building awareness for where the gravity is in your pose. And centering that gravity right in the center of the stance. Inviting some engagement, lifting into the arches of both feet. Engaging the calf muscles, wrapping them toward the bones. Allowing a lift in the kneecaps here. Strength coming into the quadriceps and the hamstrings, the fronts and the backs of the legs. Maybe even the sides, outsides and insides of the legs take a hold and come to hug in as well. Allowing ourselves to lift up through the heart, maybe roll the shoulders back and down a little bit. Maybe draw the navel in toward the spine. Adding the core strength, the tuck of the glutes and the tailbone underneath. And then lifting up through the crown of the head, pulling yourself up just as high as you can. Maybe the fingers spread wide, we can energize through the arms and elbows. Finding this kind of foundational balance posture. In a place there where we find our control and our strength. Maybe giving it 1 or 2 more breaths here. Challenging yourself to keep all the muscles engaged and strong. At the end of the last exhale, perhaps allowing everything to go soft. Maybe you bounce or shake it out a little bit. You can even get the head and the neck in there. And then when you feel like you're kind of shook out, coming back to that same stance. So again, just recognizing for yourself, lifting in the arches, and as quickly as you can, just engaging all the way up from the toes, through the legs, the core, the heart, and the crown. Coming back to that nice tall mountain posture. With the next breath in, perhaps rising the arms out and up here. Maybe those palms come together. You might lift the gaze or take a little back bend. With an exhale, coming into a forward fold, maybe coming all the way down, or you might stop at the half fold or the ski pose if you choose. Taking a next inhale, maybe rise into that half lift if you aren't there already. Nice flat back, shoulders away from the ears. With the exhale, maybe rolling the hands down the legs. Maybe those hands come to ground. Maybe you come to step back for a downward facing dog here with your exhale. Coming forward toward a plank pose if you wish to with the inhale. These can stay up or they can come to ground, you choose. Either way, keeping the tailbone tucked under, and with the exhale here, lowering your chest toward the ground but keeping the elbows in by the sides. Inhaling, perhaps rising into either a low cobra or a high cobra. You can choose how far you want to go, maybe somewhere in between. With the exhale, releasing that chest back to ground, strengthen to the fingertips. And a nice strong push-up coming back to plank, using the strength in the arms to help draw yourself up. With the exhale, pressing it back here for a downward facing dog. Good. The next in-breath, maybe walking both feet toward the hands, rising toward the top of the mat into halfway lift. With the exhale, maybe coming into forward fold, releasing from the hips perhaps. Gently rising up to standing, rising all the way from the ground. Nice and high, maybe sweeping the hands, lifting the heart, taking back bend if you wish to. And exhaling, maybe drawing those hands in towards center. Good. Taking a nice deep breath. Keeping it nice and slow, staying mindful of as we move, how we're breathing. Exhaling, maybe coming all the way forward and down. You can stop, in any depth of fold. Inhaling to find the halfway lift if you aren't there already. And exhaling again, hands to ground, stepping or walking the feet back toward downward dog if you like. Coming to inhale forward toward a plank pose, knees up or knees down, you choose. And then using the elbows, keeping the elbows by the sides of the body as we lower down, using strength in the arms. Inhaling to rise here, low cobra or high cobra, or maybe a place in between that feels right for you to stop. With the exhale, releasing the chest down, strengthen to the fingertips, reversing that push-up, strengthen the arms. Good, rising here. And then exhaling, coming back toward downward facing dog. Stepping or walking both hands forward with the inhale. Rising to halfway lift at the top of that breath. With the exhale, allowing yourself to melt forward any amount into fold. Deep breath to rise all the way back up to standing. Hands together, maybe back bend at the top. And exhaling, hands coming in towards center. We'll add a little bit of lunge variation into our next round of sun salutation when you're ready. Deep breath in, lifting the heart, taking back bend if you like it. Exhaling to come forward and down into any depth of fold. Stop wherever you need or choose. Inhaling to rise to the halfway lift. If you aren't there already, keeping the lift up in the tailbone here. And then exhaling, hands to ground, this time stepping the right foot back first into a lunge shape. Let's go ahead and take a pause here, a couple of breaths in lunge. You can keep the knee up or ground that right knee if you need or wish to. Just giving yourself whatever feels like the best stretch. Maybe allowing ourselves just a couple more breaths in the space to open up through the hip flexor, to find the space that we might need here. Maybe one more breath, perhaps preparing for a step back, tucking the right toes if the knee is grounded. With the next inhale, left foot comes back toward plank pose. And then lowering toward the ground with the exhale. Inhaling, you can rise, low cobra or high cobra here, somewhere in between perhaps. If you'd like to this time, maybe coming to tuck the toes and press it straight back to downward facing dog with your exhale. Option to rise the right leg with the breath in for three-leg dog. Point those toes high toward the sky. And with the exhale, step or walk that right leg through the hands. Coming back to lunge here for the second side. You can choose, is the knee off the ground or on the ground? Taking about 4 more breaths or so just to help give space for the stretch. Notice if there's anything else that you need or need to adjust here. Any other options you may want to take perhaps in the next couple of breaths. Maybe one more full inhale and full exhale. Perhaps tucking through the left toes this time as we work our way forward. Left foot meets the right foot, rising to halfway lift. In breath at the top. With the exhale, maybe coming back down into forward fold. Rising to standing as you're ready. Lifting with the breath in, maybe hands come together, lifting the gaze, back bend option. And exhaling, bringing hands back into center. Good. Same here to the second side. Deep breath in when you're ready. Sweeping the hands up, keeping the lift through the spine. Even as we lower down, the spine stays long the whole way. Forward folding to your depth. In breath, rise into halfway lift if you like. Exhaling, hands coming back to ground. Perhaps left leg can step back first this time, finding our lunge. So if you want to create any different variation this time, maybe the knee was grounded before, it may stay lifted. Or if you like, you can keep that leg grounded. You might rise through the upper body instead this time. So just allowing yourself to play with whatever creative options you feel you may need. Giving it about 3 more breaths or so. Allowing yourself to drop into that breath awareness. Noticing if there's anything else that needs to clear from the mind. Coming back to what you notice here. If you are lifted in your shape, maybe taking the next exhale to plant the hands back down. Tuck in perhaps the left toe. Stepping the right foot back here toward a plank pose. And it can be knees up or down, you choose. With the exhale, lowering down toward the floor, elbows staying in close. Option to rise here into a low cobra or high cobra if you like. Exhaling to release, tuck the toes, pressing it straight back here to downward facing dog this time. Option to rise the left toes with a 3-leg dog, breath in. Stepping or walking that left foot through the hands perhaps as you're ready, and again, whatever option you want on the second side of the shape, feeling free to take it now, be it knee off the ground or lift up, whatever you did on the last side here. Taking another 3 or so breaths, creating the space you need for the stretch that fits you best. A couple more breaths perhaps to help you open or clear the mind. When you're ready, maybe coming to tuck the toe. Again, we're stepping forward, right foot to meet the left. When you're ready, taking an in-breath, stepping right foot forward, halfway lift at the top of that breath. With the exhale, coming back to any depth of forward fold. Inhaling to bend into the knees, perhaps roll up or rise up. Again, coming to stand and lifting through the heart, maybe taking back bend option. And exhaling, hands coming into center. Good. If you would like to take another deep breath, sweeping those hands high, lifting through the heart, back bend option. Exhaling, coming forward and down. Forward fold. Halfway lift, deep breath in, find that flat back. Exhaling, hands to ground, maybe the right foot steps back here. Choosing your lunge, if you wish to rise up, maybe taking a deep breath in. Hands maybe coming high, maybe arms are parallel. Maybe giving it one more breath here if you'd like to give energy to the shape. Or the exhale, maybe floating those hands back down. Left foot coming to step back to meet the right. You can keep knees up or put the knees on the ground, tucking the tailbone either way. And with the exhale, perhaps lowering toward the floor, nice and strong. Deep breath in to rise, low cobra, high cobra, or the upward facing dog if you want to press through the tops of the feet and lift the knees. Option to press it straight back here to a downward facing dog. Good, maybe the right leg rises for a 3-leg dog here, toes toward the sky. Stepping or walking that right foot through the hands. Coming for your lunge on the second side. If you like to create a lift, next breath, maybe rising those arms or hands up. Maybe taking an extra exhale here to sink into the shape any amount. One more breath in to rise and lift here. And with that exhale, sweeping back to ground. Good, left foot comes to step forward. Finding the halfway lift, flat back, shoulders away from ears. Exhaling, forward fold as you're ready. Rising through the body to standing. Heart lifts, back bend option if you like it. Exhaling, hands into center. One more side, deep breath in when you're ready. Flowing high. Exhaling into forward fold. Squeezing the whole breath out. Next inhale. Come in halfway lift. Exhaling, hands to ground. Maybe that left foot steps back for the lunge here. Option to rise up through the upper body if you wish to. Hands parallel, fingers spread wide. Exhaling, maybe sinking into the shape any amount. Next breath. Lifting just a little bit higher. With the exhale, hands coming back to ground. Stepping it back with the right foot plank pose. Exhaling to lower toward the ground as you're ready. Elbows in by the body. Inhaling to rise to low cobra, high cobra, or upward dog if you want to lift with the knees. Taking it straight back with the exhale here toward downward facing dog perhaps. Lifting the left toes high for 3-leg dog. Breath in. Stepping or walking with the exhale, left foot forward through the lunge. Good, maybe rising one more time here if you wish to. Lifting the hands high, exhaling to sink into the shape or express it with a little more strength. One more breath in to reach. And exhaling, hands coming back to ground. Right foot's coming forward. Inhaling here toward halfway lift. And exhaling, flowing down toward the ground. Rising up. Deep breath in all the way to a tall standing shape. Back bend option. And exhaling, hands coming in through center. Very nice. We'll go ahead and just take a moment with the feet grounded on the floor. You can choose if the feet are about hip width distance or a little closer. Perhaps the big toes come to touch. An option to take a deep sweeping breath, arms coming high. This time clasping the fingers and releasing the index. The best way to show that. Good. Just take the shoulders down away from the ears and lengthen through the elbows of the arms. Nice deep breath in to stretch high with the crown of the head, and with the exhale, perhaps taking it over to one side. You can choose if you want to rise back up with the next inhale and tick-tock. Do the shape if you want to just press and hold one side before we move to the other. So maybe noticing the top shoulders rolling back and down to help create space for the heart. Maybe pressing into the outer edge of the foot that's grounded here. Maybe taking one or two more breaths like this. Lots of strength, maybe building a little bit of heat. Maybe one more full breath in. Full breath out, maybe going just a little bit deeper. With that next inhale, rising up through center. Lifting high through the crown of the head, and with the exhale, taking it over to the other side. Good. Keeping the elbows extended and the fingers pointing long. Top shoulder rolling back and down, outside edge of the foot grounded. A simple shape, but not an easy one, so giving yourself lots of breath. Good. Maybe giving it one more full breath in, full breath out. On the next inhale, coming to rise back up through center. Exhaling, maybe just opening the arms, like cactus arms or goddess arms, shoulders away from the ears, elbows coming behind you as far as possible. Squeezing the shoulder blades together, taking that lift through the crown of the head here. Fingers spread nice and wide, really energizing, giving some fire into these hands. If you would like to, take a deep breath in, sweeping those hands nice and high, inviting a little bit of balanced pose here today. As we swing those arms down, maybe crossing the right arm under the left arm here. You can bring those hands to the shoulders if you like, or you can wrap those palms together to meet. You can choose. And then inviting just a travel here into our eagle pose. You can stay just with the arms if you would like to. If you'd like to take that next level of the shape, inviting you to come into a chair pose here as well. So the hips set back behind you, heart stays lifted, engaging through the core body. And then as you feel ready, maybe keeping the weight into the left foot, starting to rise the right foot off the ground. And that might just be keeping a toe or a few toes grounded. You might find you've got the balance to cross the legs at the knee, or even wrap the right toes behind the left leg. You can play with the arms. You can choose to rise up through the elbows. Feel how that stretches the shape, or lowering the elbows maybe even gives you a different or better stretch. You can choose. And one or two more breaths here if you like. Maybe really focusing on squeezing into the shape, bringing out the body, giving a flush to the nervous system here. Finishing in your last exhale. With the next breath in, maybe coming to unwind the legs, unwrap the hands, maybe take that deep breath in nice and tall, and exhale. Let it go with a sigh. Good. You might take a moment to bounce or wiggle that shape. And we'll take it to the second side here. As you feel ready, we'll start again with the arms. Nice deep breath in to sweep those hands high. Exhaling this time, left arm crosses under the right. Maybe coming to clasp the shoulders or wrap the palms in to meet in center. And then again, allowing yourself to progress the shape if you feel like you would like to. If it doesn't feel like that is true for you, feel free to stay just with the arms. If you like that chair pose, that next level here, finding that seat, knees stay back behind the toes. And then if you wish to, weight stays into the right foot, this time starting to lift off the left leg. Maybe the toes stay grounded here. Maybe you can cross the left knee over the right knee, or perhaps wrap the left toes behind the right ankle. Again, focusing on squeezing into the shape. This allows us to compress some of the major arteries, giving a flush to the circulatory system as well. Lots of breath and power in this shape. Maybe another breath or two if you like it. When you're ready to find a release, maybe allowing yourself to uncross the toes, uncross the legs, sweep the arms up with a nice deep breath in. Then exhale, release it with a sigh. Good. You can choose to wiggle, to bounce, maybe take some shoulder rolls. Just allow some free form movement, whatever feels like you may need it here. Anything you desire, anything you wish. Allow the voice of the body to have some say and get what it needs right now. Go ahead and move our practice down toward floor level here. If you would like to come in to bring the heels close in toward each other, or you might leave a little bit of space. We're going to take ourselves down into a deep squat. Maybe the hands come to travel toward the floor here in a forward fold. And then allowing yourself to point the tailbone down toward the ground as well. So noticing if you can keep the heels at least driving toward the ground, even if you can't Keep them flat. If you need to bring in some support or cushion for the tailbone, a place for you to land, you can bring that in as well. If it works for you to bring the hands together in heart center, maybe giving yourself that little lift, the elbows can help press the knees out, create a little more depth in that stretch for you. Just give yourself some time to breathe and be here, so you can change the shape or come down to a seat if you need to let it go sooner than that. And inviting 2 or 3 more breaths if you like. Maybe 1 more full breath in, full exhale. The end of that breath, maybe hands come to meet the floor, guiding yourself down into a nice gentle seat, inviting the legs to extend out forward. If you want to bring in some cushion or lift behind the hips or under the hips, feel free to do so. Maybe pressing the heels away nice and strong, lifting up by tilting the top of the pelvis forward, rising up through the crown of the head here. You might lift the arms with a deep breath in as well. With an exhale, perhaps allowing yourself to forward fold, hands can clasp the legs, the feet or the toes. Or you can just rest the backs of the hands on the ground beside you if that feels better. You can choose how much strength and energy comes into the shape, how much softness. Allowing yourself to find some balance of effort and ease. So noticing, I may be holding some strength in this part of the body, but I can hold softness. Maybe in the face, the neck, maybe the low back can be soft here. And just take another 3 or 4 breaths for your shape, however you like to practice. If there's more depth available, you might follow the opening of the body. Lots of deep breath. And if you'd like to, maybe coming to take an inhale, you might reverse that, coming up with a flat back. Maybe those hands come behind you, or maybe if you'd like to, you can come all the way down onto the elbows. Just taking a little bit of a fish pose here. You can even sit on the backs of the hands if you want to move the hands underneath the seat here. Lifting up through the heart as we press out of the elbows, gaze can come back and down. If that's not comfortable for you, you want to just stay up on the hands and press the shoulder blades together. This is a good alternative. Wherever you choose to be, taking breath into your shape, giving space to the heart. Maybe 1 more inhale here if you like. And full exhale. Coming back up, perhaps with the gaze first. If you're on the elbows, maybe just rolling those arms from underneath you. And allowing yourself to roll all the way down. Same thing if you're supported by the hands, just releasing them from underneath. Allow yourself to come all the way down to the flat of the back. Taking just a moment to stay soft. Transitional Shavasana, just for a few breaths. Letting the body be soft, quiet, and open. If or when you feel like you would like a change, maybe coming to bend the knees, maybe draw them into the chest. If you would like to take a hug or a wrap of the arms around those knees, you can do so. Maybe allowing yourself to gently rock side to side if you like to massage across the spine. Option 2, come to bring both feet up over the hips. Perhaps take a clasp on or behind the legs. With the back flat on the ground, just drawing the toes toward you. You can even take the peace fingers to the big toes. Just help to draw the legs down toward the upper body. Perhaps keeping a clasp on the right foot to the right toe. The left foot can come to the ground, or you might even extend the whole left leg down the mat. Noticing how this changes the experience, some of that focused stretch maybe on the right leg. Where do you notice it coming in? Is there anywhere else you want to create a little bit more ease or give a little bit more breath? Taking another inhale or two here if you like. When you're ready, you may be coming to release the right leg straight over the hip and draw that left leg along with it. Maybe just taking a gentle inversion, both legs kind of hanging out in the balance point. If you'd like to, again, perhaps drawing the clasp to the left leg, maybe the foot and hand connect, or the fingers and the toe. Maybe the right leg or right foot comes to the floor. And focusing the stretch here on the left side, drawing the foot down toward the face, any amount. You can choose how much strength comes into the leg by opening the back of the knee. If you need it to be softer, you can bend that knee a little bit. Neither is wrong, just depends on what you want to feel, where the experience takes you or leads you. Giving deep breath wherever you're noticing stretch. Taking in that intention to create the space you need. Maybe another breath or two come in here if you like. And when you're feeling ready to release the left foot, maybe allowing it to also come down to the ground. Maybe both feet on the floor together, the knees bent, and maybe taking those knees side to side here. If you would like to, maybe come to find a reclined twist, maybe taking both knees perhaps over to the right side, or if you'd like to, just lengthening the right leg, crossing the left knee over to one side. Maybe extending the opposite arm out from the shoulder, in this case maybe the left hand. You may follow the gaze behind you toward that hand as well. Giving deep breath into your shape, noticing if you can relax any deeper into the form. Noticing if there's tension in the hip or the leg. You can create any more softness in the shoulder, the arm. Noticing if you can relax into the face at all. Maybe giving yourself another few breaths here, soft, still, and open. Maybe taking one more deep breath or so. If or when you feel ready, maybe coming back to center or to the flat of the back. Again, maybe bending in both knees, perhaps taking them side to side a little bit. Taking the massage for the low spine. And again, choosing if you would like to take that shape to the second side. Do both knees come across the body? Do you lengthen the left leg this time? Cross the right knee over. You can choose based on what option you took here on the first side. Maybe the right arm extends back behind you. You can follow the gaze to that hand as well. Allowing yourself just to choose how you settle into this shape. Is there anything more you can give away if it's tension in the hip or the leg? Any stress around the ribs, the lungs, or the heart? Is there any more softness that can come into the hands and the feet, the eyes, the jaw, the mouth? I'm taking softness and rest here. Intentionally creating peace in your shape as much as you can. And taking time for several more breaths if you like. You're always welcome to move out of the shape sooner and find something that suits you better if you need. You make the call. You spend the time how you wish to. Maybe giving it a couple more breaths if you like. Choosing for yourself if you want to stay a little bit longer in this shape, if you're ready to kind of bring it back to center. If that's true for you, maybe bringing, again, both feet to the floor, perhaps taking the side-to-side movement in the knees. If there's any other stretch, shape, or movement that you need now or want to include in our practice as we come to close in final relaxation, feel free to kind of meet whatever that need may be for you. Maybe allowing yourself to gently come to the flat of the back. Arms can rest down by the sides of the body, maybe extending the legs and then making them soft. Coming to enjoy a couple minutes of our Shavasana. Be getting deep breath here into your shape. Maybe allowing that breath to start to settle and come to a calmer place. A more natural pace and depth that you enjoy. Allowing yourself to perhaps notice heaviness through the body, especially the arms and the legs. If there's any other spaces where you can connect kind of that sense of gravity into the very bones of your body. And just notice as they melt or sink into the ground, the earth below you. Just giving yourself time for breath, time to be clear and conscious, steady, deeply in tune. Whatever you need in your life, you can ask for it to come to you here. Allow yourself to gently bring the breath, the body, and the space around you into awareness. Maybe gently starting to add movement if you wish to, wiggling fingers and toes, circling the wrists, the ankles. Perhaps you choose to stay soft and grounded here. Give yourself another few minutes or a whole lot more minutes to take space for rest. If you choose to come back to a seat to close the practice, maybe drawing the knees into the chest or giving yourself a little hug. Maybe allowing yourself to press to one side or gently draw yourself back up to a seat. Maybe finding the space to gently invite an intention for the rest of your day into your heart and your mind. Even receiving it into the body with your deep breath in. If you would like to give voice and vibration to these intentions, maybe closing here with a chant of 3 Om if you wish to, starting in a deep breath. Honoring the light, the love, and the divine in each of you, from my heart to yours. Namaste. And thank you for joining in for this time in this practice. If there's anything else that you need, further guidance or questions answered, please let me know. It's been a pleasure and a joy to share this time with you. Thank you so much.